Howdy folks, Frankie Day here. Okay guys, for this glorious Friday evening, this is video number 3 for the GLOBEMASTER online build. Okay guys, as taken from the last of the build on this, I went ahead and sanded the wings down. I haven't primed them yet. I've got the engines all painted, ready to be installed inside the nacelles, which will be starting on that first. And we got other things we got to do on it. And we'll see how far we go today for build number 3. So far on the agenda, we've got the nacelles, we've got the heater tanks. I've already got the flat bearings already installed on the bottom of the wings. So I'll show you fellas when we swing the camera around. So we shall resume. And like the great Jackie Gleason used to say, here we go. All right, guys. Okay, it's taken from the last video. I went and sanded down the wings. I've got all the flat bearings installed. These are all smooth. There's no imperfections in the wings at all. I gave it a good light test. And wings can use just a little more sanding, and we can go from there. Starting right now, I can do a little sanding right here. So I'm going to start sanding this wing a little bit more, fellas. I think I saw a couple things there. I spoke too soon. And excuse me, fellas. Let me get myself prepared for this video, but gotta have my trusty paper towels here to wipe off all this residue. And give these wings a good once over one time again. Beautiful. Okay, fellas. Alrighty, guys. Like I said, you got the fairings all done on the swings here. They're all finished. And all I gotta do is install the nacelles. Now, on the GLOBEMASTER, I noticed that the company that made this screwed up. This nacelle right here is the bottom of the nacelles. There should be 4 of these. Each nacelle has its own intercoolers right here. What the dumb clucks did, they gave me 2 nacelles with 2 intercoolers, and the other 2 don't have any. So what I'm going to have to do is go ahead and put these nacelles inboard and leave these outboard. I was going to go ahead and take some sheet styrene and make me some new intakes, but I decided not to. So nobody knows but us. And so I'm going to go ahead and use these nacelles as indicated. Even the instructions has the same thing. Where are my instructions at? I'll be darned, where did they go to? They're on you somewhere, fellas. I'll find them. Anyway, on the instructions it shows 2 of these on the port side of the wing, and the other 2 don't have intercoolers on the other side of the wing. But that's not true. But the C-124 GLOBEMASTER has 4 intercoolers, 1 in each wing. So these are going to be inboard right here. Okay, fellas, in the beginning, we're going to go ahead and get this nacelles all together. I've been toying around with the fit. They fit very, very nice. There's no locating holes here, but they fit very good. And starting with the nacelles here, I'm going to go ahead. They have little seats right in here. Let me get a little closer here, fellas, so you can see. It's hard for me to judge distance. Use such a small monitor on here opposed to the monitor on my computer. Now they fit very nicely, but they fit about like that, fellas, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and cement these engines. They've been pre-painted. I'm going to go ahead and cement these engines in place. Now make sure the top of your governor ring, it's called the magneto. Make sure you fit that on top. just like this. Perfect. Now top this nacelle fits over here. Very nicely. Make sure that, like I say, fellas, there's no locating holes in these nacelles. So you got to use your ACC right there as a for the adhesive. And like I said, fellas, these ACC is about the only thing that'll make resin stick, because you'd be pretty much at loss if you use anything besides that, fellas. Sand that joint down, fill in that seam right there. Sometimes they present a problem here, fellas. One little ACC inside there. Seal the seams inside there too, fellas. And they hold the buttons like that. And sand that seam out using the emery board sanding stick. Sometimes stuff wants to stick to my gloves, but I'm not going to let it. So, you got to make sure the nacelle is nice and smooth before you do apply the filler, because it's going to leave some filler, I'm afraid. That was pretty good, fellas. There's a little more sanding right here. Yeah, this kid, I found out a couple of things they did. They shorted me out of, they short those nacelles on me like that. So I went ahead and made a complete inventory of the parts list. Ain't no parts list on this thing. You just got to verify everything by using plans. That's pretty good there. It's pretty smooth. That's going to be filled in with filler and attached to the wings. You got a little of a tag right there on the resin there, fellas. Gotta make sure all these parts are good and clean, because like I say, when a part's not properly cleaned, they're gonna interfere with the fit. So you gotta make sure everything fits perfect on this thing before you cement the same to the assembly. Give this nacelle another good sanding right here. Make sure, because I don't want to use very much filler. I try to stay away from that stuff as much as I can, because, you know, I just want to use that much filler on here, fellas. This nacelle's about ready to be filled a little bit, so I'm going to do a little more sanding on it. Just make sure that's pretty well smoothed out evenly before I distribute just a fine, fine layer of filler. I've got a vacuum form kit of this fellow. It's 1/72 scale. It's bare bones. A very difficult kit to build. I think I've built 3 of those in my lifetime. And each one has a different way of going together. And they fit, each one goes together differently, and vacuum form kits are very, very difficult to build at times because you got to make structures in them, because they got to have reinforcement inside the fuselage and the wings. You got to make spars, ribs. You got to make formers for the fuselage side to keep the fuselage nice and rigid. In other words, it'll be like a sponge. Okay, fellas, I can't. That's pretty smooth. So right there, that's engine nacelle number 1 done right here, as you can see. And we're going to go to nacelle number 2. That was an inboard one. You got to check these parts for fit, make sure they fit properly, and they do. You got to find out where that magneto's at. Okay, the magneto fits up here in the center. Very well. Again, you give it another hit of ACC, and make sure the top of that magneto on top of that governor ring fits, goes straight up center, just like that. And one on the side, on the bottom, on top. Alrighty then, let's check this stuff out here. Alrighty. Again, I got to trim some of this flash on here from the boat resin on top of the recess ring, which fits inside the wing. You got to make sure that's all straight and cleaned. Make sure it's good and flush. And this here will fit right top of here, just like the other one. Beautiful. That one did better than the other one did. Resins, resin kits, buddies, they're gentlemen. They're very, very temperamental stuff to use. Piece that on rubber glove of mine. Sand that off. That wasn't meant to be on there. I'll tell you one thing about those ACC, fellas. This stuff really gets all over the place. You got to make sure that this stuff is completely run free. Make sure you don't get none of your rubber gloves here like you had mine here a while ago. It's the first time it happened like this before. This stuff here gets on you, it just sticks. Like fly paper. Okay, let that dry. When it dries, I'm going to come back and sand this down real well. Take your sanding stick, sand that seam out nice and flush. About 90% of it gets it out pretty good, sometimes 100%. In this case, about 90%, the other 10% is the filler. So you want to use as less as you can on that filler. Okay, that seems pretty well sanded out. This is next. And get rid of that goddamn blue rubber glove on top of their seam line. That was meant to be my gloves, fellas. That glove was gone. Two nacelles finished right here. They're about ready for the filler. And we got a couple more here to go. This flash here, make sure you get all that flash off, fellas. I can't stress any more than I have to. The cleaner you clean your parts, the better fit it's going to be. I don't care how new this kit really is, or like all kits in general, you're going to have to put up with some flash. There you go. Make sure it's flash free. Clean that stuff off. Okay, a little masa key, which in Spanish means one more here. Been pretty much working all day for the honeydew list for my wife. And got a lot of things done around the house. Oh, hey, wait a second now. I'll be doggone. There's an intercooler right there, so this goes outboard. I'll be a son of a gunk. Well, I guess they did it right after all, did they? There's the intercoolers. Well, works for me, boys. It works for me. Every time I look at this kit, I think of more stuff I haven't seen from before. So this is going to be the bottom. Make sure that the magneto is on top. There we go. There you go, fella. I'm gonna take these gloves off. These blue gloves I got ain't working too good for me. So I'm going to use my other ones I got, which work very well for me. Somehow that stuff magnifies that ACC glue. I'm getting gloves all over my darn parts, and that wasn't meant to be. Okay, fellas, that was a fast deal there. Top, top, bottom, top. Oh, okay. Put some ACC here, fill it that seam, make sure it's got enough on there. Yeah, these gloves are much better, fellas. Those ones the wife bought me ain't working too good for me. Somehow it magnifies all this acrylite glue on here and sticks to the plastic, and I don't want to do that. If I want to spend time sanding my gloves, I need to sand this resin down.